Hi, welcome back to It's Medicinal. This is episode number 2. Harvey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Did you survive Valentine's Day?
I survived it. I worked it. I didn't do anything special for it.
It sounds good. And as we know, it's nonsense. So let's move on to today's topic. What are we talking about today?
So today we're going to cover diabetes diagnosis. I think, unless we go off track. So diagnosis, DX if you're nasty or illiterate. Um, but yeah. So did you want to kick off with like your personal experience of diagnosis?
Well, being the sort of elderly statesman of the two, if you like, I suppose, yeah, why not? So diagnosis. Um, I was diagnosed in 1984. I am actually that old.
Audible gasp.
Yeah. 84. I wasn't even born. 1984. Um, December 1984. I know the exact date because it was my birthday when I was diagnosed.
That's brutal.
Yeah. No
That's
birthday
harsh.
cake for diabetic dad. Oh, no birthday
Oh,
cake. Yeah. So I was diagnosed on my birthday. I collapsed. I was unwell maybe for a couple of days in advance, so not that long.
yeah,
My mum assumed I had measles. I had spots on my chest, and I was
yeah.
feeling unwell. She went, "Okay, he's got some childhood illness. Maybe it's measles."
I mean,
So
that's a natural feeling. That's where you would go with something like that,
yeah,
especially being that age.
yeah, that at that age, I don't think I was inoculated, so it's possibly a chance that I could have had that. Um, Went to bed in the evening quite early on, feeling unwell. Woke up quite early as well. There was only my mum at home. Walked downstairs feeling biblically thirsty, like you wouldn't believe.
I,
Um,
I probably would believe.
you might believe, yeah, other diabetics might believe. Non-diabetics, I don't think they could
They
possibly
don't have a they don't
understand.
have a clue. Not unless they've been in the Sahara for 4 weeks with no water. I don't think so.
It's similar to that, I imagine.
Yeah,
Just like gulping water, as you would, as many people did. Sat down and the curtains came down. I just collapsed. It went black. Woke up in my mum's arms, confused. What's going on? She's on the telephone. Back then, telephones were attached to the wall with a cable, and you had to
oh,
dial the numbers in. Imagine that.
there may be people listening to this that don't know what landline means.
There may be. And that
I
was a classic landline.
I was at the turn of landlines. I saw the ones corded to the walls. I was there.
So you saw them when you were but a boy,
Yeah,
a youngster.
when I was little.
So she was calling my dad because she didn't know what else to do. I collapsed, mum. Maybe an ambulance would be a good idea, but no. Let's call his father and find out what to do first. So he came home. We went to the GP, who took one look at me and immediately sent me off to hospital, um,
Yeah.
where I spent about an hour or two attempting not to give them a pee sample because because they were all watching me, Harvey. Nurses, doctors, my mum and my dad wanted me to pee in this little tube, this little tub, so they could test my pee for sugars and all the other things. And I
That's
would,
crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
give me a bit of, close the curtain, go away, and maybe I'll do that for you. Eventually, I think it clicked with them and they left, and that happened. And they did the blood test and a few other things. And later that day, not immediately, later that day, um, diagnosed me T1D. I was then admitted. to a ward where I spent 5 days learning how to be a diabetic.
Yep,
So
I'm familiar.
okay, similar thing. So, how to inject, how to take uh, blood glucose tests. Back then, you would test your pee as well. I guess that would be for ketones. It's less, I think people don't do that quite so much now.
I don't think it's too common anymore.
Yeah. So
It's not something that I've ever had to do um, for GP reasons or anything like that. I do every once in a while have to do it, but it's for um, other stuff because I had really high blood pressure and things like that. So they test for all sorts on me now.
oh, okay.
So
Okay. So I think back then it was more commonplace, and it was the easy thing to do because I'll do this. It doesn't hurt. I'm not going to lose any blood. So that was the easy
nobody's
one.
going to take my precious, precious blood from me.
Yeah. And at that age, I'm guessing with you as an adult, but I'm not certain. Perhaps this happened with you as well. I needed to be pinned down by many people to be injected because I hated it. And that took days for me to get used to. I was only 8 years old. I was only a baby. I might sound old, I might act old, but I was only a baby in 1984. But even so, it took people to pin me down while somebody injected me. And I didn't inject myself for years beyond that. It was my father that would do that for me until high school, I think. So a good few years. And only then did I discover I can do this myself, just give me the needle and I'll do it.
That's crazy.
But I guess kids these days would get into that quite quickly. They would be taught to do that themselves quite quickly.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more heavily on self-management now rather than it being like a family support sort of thing.
Mm.
I think it is a lot more of this is what you have to do now. So there you go.
Yeah, yeah, and you quickly. I suppose kids also would quickly adapt, maybe more so than adults when it comes to self-medicating. I don't, nobody likes injecting, do they? And especially kids. There's a huge fear of,
I don't like I used to be scared of needles when I was younger, but only because I had some jabs for something or other and they really hurt me. So I was just scared of needles because I was scared of the pain. I've never been bothered by actual needles.
yeah,
And when I was diagnosed, they were like, "Oh, so you're gonna have to start injection." I was like, "Cool, where? What do you want me to do? What?"
yeah.
I wasn't bothered. It didn't phase me really.
Ah, okay. Well, that's cool.
So
That's cool. Maybe it's more sort of a young person's thing, a kid's thing, I guess, or maybe it's just me and I'm a wuss. So that's
maybe you're just a big girl's blouse. Yeah.
quite possibly, yeah. I'm the adult that still passes out at a blood test. If I have my
Well,
A1C, I
I
need to
know.
lie
Yeah.
down.
Sorry.
Go on.
I know realistically, like a lot of people have that fear of needles and stuff, and there are a lot of people that are like into the tech and stuff because you have to do less in terms of injections and things like that.
Yeah,
So I totally get how you can have that kind of built up fear about it and that irrational hatred of it as well.
yeah,
It just never phased me, that was all.
yeah. Oh, well, lucky you, I suppose. It's only lately that I've kind of gotten over that. I would avoid blood test, the A1C, for years and years, but now, yeah, I still get clammy. I still get a little, I need to lie down while you do this, but mostly I'm fine. Mostly it's an easy thing to get over compared to what it used to be.
Do
So,
you look away and pretend that something else is happening?
oh yeah, I need the nurse to talk to me about, what I'm having for dinner, ask me about my tattoo, anything other than what's going on. And I still need to lie there for maybe 20, 30 seconds afterwards, and when she's done, and then I can sit up and I'm good. If I sit up too quickly, I'm out like a light.
That's
So,
mental. I watched them. I watched the blood come out and everything. And like I've had surgery on my hand before, and I watched them like pull the skin off, and I could see my knuckles from the inside and so I find it really interesting. I find that kind of thing, it's gross and it's macabre, but I really enjoy the the inner workings of like your body and stuff. I think it's crazy
yeah,
because, do you know, like I was saying last time, we're just sacks of meat. How does this all make like a full person? That's mental.
yeah,
So I really enjoy looking at that kind of side of it, because it's like computers for me. It's the same sort of principle. It's all, the little things that make up the bigger part. I
yeah,
think it's really interesting.
yeah,
So I find it really strange that you can't look at someone taking blood from you. It courses around your body all the time anyway.
yeah.
So what difference does it make if it's just a bit of it's coming out?
It is such an odd thing. And I think for me, it's because I passed out quite early on, maybe soon after diagnosis.
Yeah.
They did that. And it's just something that stuck with me all my life until, well, only lately, I guess. I'm kind of getting over that. So that's a good 30 plus years it's taken me to kind of just calm down. It's just a blood test. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
Now I'm okay with it. So that was me in '84 being diagnosed, poor little diabetic dad UK on my birthday.
Bless. I know. I feel for you. I really do.
Give me sympathy. Send me cake. 30 years later, what
Yeah.
happened to you?
Well, when I was about 15, this is a good 6 years before I was diagnosed. When I was about 15, I started, do you know, the thirsty, tired, thinner toilet, all of that thing.
Mm,
And I said to my mum, I was like, I'd really like to go and get like a blood test to see if I'm not diabetic or something like that. It was nothing, there was no like big signs of it or anything like that. It's just that I felt like I was peeing more than other people were.
mm,
Like my party trick was that I could down like 2 or 3 pints of water in a row without stopping.
oh,
And it just didn't seem to like affect me. And like obviously it didn't come back up and or anything like that. Like I didn't have any issues drinking that much water all in one go. Um, and I was never like a fat kid or anything like that, but I was a little bit chubbier when I was like 13, 14-ish. And
yeah.
then from about 15, like I just went down to being kind of skinny. Um, so I asked her and she was like, "Oh yeah, like we'll go one day," and we never did. It was just something that was in the back of my mind, and I just said it like in a passing way. So we just never actually got around to doing anything about it.
Mm,
So like you flash forward about like 5, 6 years. I'm 6'2" and I was 7.5 stone wet.
wow.
So and I should be roughly about like 12 stone. That's like what my weight is now, and I'm still kind of skinny. Um, so it was kind of concerning. Um, like my husband's always been like concerned that I was like really skinny from when we got together. And he knew that I went to the toilet a lot. I was always tired. I was always complaining that I was tired. It was all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
So it was all of the signs that are really obvious signs, but I never thought anything of them. I was just like, well, I just work a lot, so I'm tired, and I'm getting so much thinner because I've started cycling and I've never cycled before because I learned to cycle when I was 21 because in terms of balance, I'm illiterate. I cannot stay upright on my own 2 feet, never mind cycle anywhere. But to get to work, it was 3 miles, so it was just easier to bike. So I learned how to do that. But I dropped the weight really quickly.
okay.
The reason that I went to the GP is because I got all these spots on my knees and on my elbows, like big white spots, like they were like solid pieces of gristle underneath my skin. Um, and I ignored those as well because I just didn't. I was like, no, it's fine, ignore it. It'll be right. Um, and it clearly wasn't. I was pretty much dying. But I started getting them on my ears, and they were visible to other people. So I went to the GP and was like, look, I've got all these spots all over my body and I don't know what they are. I'm sort of worried about them. And she was like, you're really, really thin. She was like, can I take some blood because you might have like an underlying issue that's creating these spots? Because I honestly cannot tell you what they are just by looking at them.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So she took my blood and she was like, you'll probably find out in about 2 days. We'll give you a ring and you'll come back in and we'll tell you what's what. And I was like, okay. That evening, I got a missed phone call while I was at work saying, can you ring the GP, please? It is sort of urgent. And I was like, so I rang the GP and they were closed. So I waited until the next day when they opened at 8 in the morning. And I was at work and so I rang them and said, oh, I've had a phone call. And they were like, oh, we've got your blood results back. Can you come back in? And I was like, well, I'm at work. Can I come in on my break? And they were like, oh, yeah, that's fine. If you just come in, we'll put you in between other appointments because you need to get seen today. And I
Okay.
was like, oh, so as you do, you stupidly go, oh, it's the worst thing. I've got like terminal cancer, or I've got some. You just think of the most horrible can
Yeah.
and go, it's going to be that because it always is. Nobody's ever lucky enough for it to just be nothing.
Mm.
I don't know why I thought I was that special that something would be terminal or anything like that. I'm not special enough to get killed by a serial killer. I'm not special enough to get something that's terminal either. I'm not one of those stories. I'm a tertiary character in this play. But so she then rang me back and said, you can't wait. You need to come. You need to come now. You need to leave work and come. And
Okay.
I was like, right, okay, I really am dying. So I told my boss and was like, look, I'm gonna have to go to my GP because they've told me I need to go and I need to go now. And they were like, yeah, that's fine, that's not a problem. If you've got to go to your GP, you've got to go to your GP, no worries. So I cycled there, and they were like, right, you've got diabetes. She was as vague as possible. She was like, you've got diabetes. I'm going to refer you to someone. I'm going to write you out a letter and refer you to someone at the hospital. I'd like you to go down there. And I was like, right. By this point, I'd already texted my husband, like that time we were boyfriends.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd already texted him and let him know. And he came to the GP and cycled my bike home while I walked to the hospital. I got to the hospital and they were like, right, so yeah, so we've got this letter for you and you're diabetic and stuff. Let us put these cannulas in. We'll get you on some like drips. We'll get you on some saline and we'll get you evened out and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, well, when am I going to be going home? And they were like, well, it's Friday today, so you aren't going home until at least Monday. And I was like, well, some sort of forewarning would have been nice because I'd have been able to, get some clothes, some books, something to do over the weekend.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I'm getting a little bit of holiday off work, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
And so they were like, yeah, I didn't come out of the hospital until the Wednesday after that. And within the space of that week, I'd put on a stone.
Wow.
Um, it was painful. Like my first month outside of hospital was really horrible. Because the reason I was so thin is because it had converted all of my fat into sugars for my body system, and it had converted all of my muscle into fat to convert into sugar for my body system.
Yeah.
So I was working on the bare minimum possible for me to work.
Wow.
So I had to regrow muscle and stuff like that. So it was really painful for me. I've still got really weirdly skinny legs because I can't grow muscle on them anymore.
Mhm.
They just don't grow properly. So yeah, it was really kind of scary, if I'm
Yeah.
honest. And those spots were all cholesterol. That's what they told me when I was there. They were like, "Oh, it's physical cholesterol because there's nowhere else for it to go in your blood because you've got so much in there. Basically, your blood's just fat at this point, like it's acidic fat.
Wow.
So you're very lucky you've not like had a heart attack or a stroke or something like that and just keeled over halfway to work on your bike." And
Yeah.
I was like, winner, cool, yeah. Cheers, thanks a lot.
How
So
are you
I was
still
really excited.
alive? Wow.
I don't know. I am really, really fortunate to have had some symptoms of something else that has made me go, right, this is a problem. I, and it's something that's going to end up embarrassing me publicly. So I need to go to the doctor and get it sorted because I
Yeah.
was one of those people. There are a lot of them that go, well, I'm not going to the doctors. You know, when you see those adverts on TV and stuff, and it's like, if you've got blood in your urine, speak to the GP.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to talk about. I don't want to talk about how weirdly skinny I am and the fact that I've got spots all over my legs,
Oh, well,
but I'm going to have to if everybody else is going to see it.
yeah.
So, you know,
So it's finally obvious to people, and that what spurred you on to shit. I better go and do something about this. People are starting to notice.
yeah, pretty much. Because I was just playing the card of skinny legend before that. You know, I was just like, oh, I can eat whatever I want and I never put on any weight. I
Yeah.
was one of those people that was like, I'm just naturally really skinny. I look like a crack addict. I didn't look good. I was just like, yeah, I look skinny. It's fine.
I'm
So,
dying, but I'm a skinny legend.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm dying, but I'm gonna die a legend, whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was a scary time. It was really horrible. Um,
God.
Going in there, like I went through like a weird bout of this depression sort of stuff because I don't think it was as serious as, you know, needing like psychiatric help or anything like that. But I really got to me while I was there.
Yeah.
You know, that my life was going to have to change completely because I didn't look after myself, and you know, I still don't now. But for a good little while after I was diagnosed, I was a good boy and behaved really, really well.
Yeah.
And I did not enjoy it. So
But I think we said last time what the way you live with your diabetes and how you manage that seems to work for you, and I think that's the most important thing. There's a lot
yeah,
more of, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, but actually, I don't know, diabetes, type 1 diabetes, it's not black and white. We're not all the same.
no, I think we're completely different in terms of what we can and can't handle into like because obviously it's taken a lot of me testing stuff and finding out things about my own body and things like that since I was diagnosed to know the limits that I can live to
Yeah.
and what I'm happy living at. And it will be completely different to what someone else can deal with because, you know, my pancreas might not work properly, but my liver might do some of the job that it's supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, but there are other people that don't have that luxury, and you know, there are other parts of your body that take over from what something's supposed to be doing that not everybody has the capability to do. So
Okay. So, just going back to your time of diagnosis, when they started to medicate you, obviously it's insulin. Of course, it's insulin. Was it immediately um, basal bolus, where you kind of, take a basal once a day, twice a day, and bolus for your meals, or um, was it something like? Because when I was diagnosed, it was called it was Humalog, and it was a mixed pen. It was both things. So I would inject twice a day, and that was it.
yeah, that's mental. I have heard of Humalog and only having to do it like a few times a day. But when I was diagnosed, obviously I was on drips and stuff while I was in the hospital. But I went straight to Lantus and Nova Rapid.
Okay.
So they put me on that. They put me on quite low. They put me 1-to-1 for my Nova Rapid. So for bolus, like they just said, just do 1-to-1 every 10 grams of carbs, do 1 unit of insulin, see how that goes. I was like, right, cool. For my Nova Rapid, they were like, start on 15 once a day, and almost straight away I was like, right, I need to like increase this straight off.
So you knew.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe a week later, I went back to the GP and they were like, right, we'll do 2 lots of 15 a day because you're running at like maybe 21, 22, something like that.
So that was so two
Um,
lots of 15 a day was your basal, so your Lantus. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, they were like, right, just double it, but just do 2 at separate times because it looks like you're running really high because it's just going back up. It's not lasting you. So I was like, cool, yeah. So I did that. But yeah, it's always been two lots of insulin for me. I've never done anything else. It's never been considered to do anything else or anything like that either. I think that's just the standard norm now, maybe.
Yeah, I think it is. I think I asked because I was on Humalog, the mix pen, so just 2 jabs a day, for quite a while. Maybe, I mean, I've had T1D for 34 years, and I think I was on that for more than 26 years. That was all I did, twice a day. And it worked, it wasn't perfect, but it did work.
Yeah.
So I think as
Did
you
you,
go
sorry, did you have to have like a much more restricted diet when you were doing that then?
to a point, yeah, to a point, it was a lot of avoid sugar, avoid chocolate, avoid carb heavy meals if you can, because there was no bolus to get things back in line. So if you went high, you're going to go high, and you're high until the next injection. And then you might need to go low carb, or you might even need to skip a meal
Yeah,
to,
you actually had to actually physically battle that high
yeah,
rather than just being able to correct yourself.
yeah, that's how it worked. And that's how it worked, like I said, for more than 2 decades, maybe 25, 26 years. But that was the norm for me. You just accepted it and got on with things until I had an appointment. On one of the few appointments I attended one day, the nurse told me, "Why don't you move to this?" And it's the same thing that you're using now, Lantus and
Yeah.
Novo. And I'm still on Lantus and Novo today. The same thing. And of course, that offers far more flexibility when you're high, and you can just eat basically whenever you wish as long as you're not super high.
Yeah, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Like, you just have to keep an eye on your sugars.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
And when you were diagnosed, I guess when you were taking your blood sugar, your blood glucose test, um, as it is now, click your finger on a little stick in a machine and you're good to go. I guess
Yeah.
that's what you do today. Of course you do.
Yeah,
Um,
it's no different. I've still got the little Tamagotchi blood testers.
okay, cool. But in when I was diagnosed, you put your finger underneath. Well, there's pictures on the internet, and it's kind of like a guillotine device, which slams down into your finger at a depth I have no idea. Sometimes it felt like it was coming out of your fingernail. It would go in so deep.
Oh,
It worked though, shockingly. A lot of blood used to come out. Um,
well, yeah, it will.
yeah.
You're
Uh,
slashing your finger open every time you want to test your blood. Of course, it's going to tell you what it is.
Oh, they were evil, those machines. But again, that was considered the norm. Dab of blood on a stick. Only this time it didn't go in a machine. You waited. You held your stick for, I think it was a minute. You had to wait. Then you wipe off the blood, and there, beneath the blood was colour. And you compared that colour to a chart, almost like a Dulux colour chart, like the diabetes
Yeah, like the
colour chart.
0 to 5s and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I've seen those. To be fair, I have seen like the P sticks that are very similar for ketones.
It is the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically the same thing. But a blood test then, you're looking at a couple of minutes of your life. Today it's what? I don't know, 20 seconds by the time you're set up and done.
Yeah,
And
you can narrow it down really small, to really small time frames, and it's really unintrusive. You can just do it while you're having a chat with people over food, and it doesn't really matter now. Whereas I imagine that was like a rigmarole, and it wasn't something that you really would take out with you and and do while you were out because it's just such a big thing. And then obviously everyone's like staring, and or
yeah,
if you did take it out, it was that whole social anxiety type thing.
yeah. That is exactly what it was like. And I went for years without doing a blood test in public simply because of that. It was such an unusual thing to see that you would get a lot of attention, of course. Now it's a little more, yeah, as you said, a little more hidden. It's quick. Maybe you can just pop your thing out, click, you're done. Back then,
Yeah.
tubes of sticks and guillotines and blood and tissues all over the place. Yeah, it was a little more obvious what you were doing and unusual as well. And that saw me go years without testing in public.
That's crazy.
Mm.
That's mental. just so completely foreign and so completely different to what I'm used to. And I mean, obviously, when I was first diagnosed, the first couple of times testing out in public or injecting in public or anything like that, it's a roller coaster of emotion in terms of the fact that if someone just glances at you and goes, "Oh God," now like I'll get a pretzel while I'm at the airport and do an injection, and some woman screams and hides behind a book, and I'm like, if you don't like it, fuck off. Because I'm not interested. I'm just trying to live. If you think it's cocaine, do you want some? I can kill you with it. It's fine. Don't worry about it, love. It's none of your business. But
Wow.
it when I was first diagnosed, it was so scary to do anything like that in public because of it. I don't know. It's like a shame. It's like a shame that you've got to carry around with you the fact that you're sick, and
Mm.
other people just see it as, oh, I'm just either doing this for attention or, oh my God, he's injecting something. Is he doing heroin at that table in Costa? Of course I'm fucking not, you stupid cow.
In the
Do you know
middle
what I
of
mean?
being
Like,
happy.
yeah, let's just shoot up. Do you know what I mean? I'm not, absolutely ridiculous some of the looks and comments that you get, but
Yeah.
it doesn't bother me anymore. But it's one of those things I wouldn't, I don't think I'd be able to cope with like a guillotine sort of
Oh,
piece of apparatus with it as well. I have to kind of still be discreet now, despite the fact that I come across as this person that's not bothered and I'll scream at people in the middle of the street, and I will, but only if I've got that confidence level there.
yeah.
If I
Yeah.
don't have it, I still need to be really discreet with what I'm doing, and it is still like an embarrassing thing if, I'm meeting people that I've never met before, if it's like a work conference and we're
Yeah.
all having food. I've got to then test my blood and do insulin in front of people that are going to look at me and go, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm going to be like, "It's
Mm.
Sambuca. What the fuck do you think it is?"
Sambuca.
Like, like some people just see things and say things, and you think, "Oh my God, wind your neck in. It's none of your business."
Yeah. Yeah. To be honest, I feel it's less of a thing these days. Maybe, disabled people are more, I don't class diabetes as a disability, but disabled people are more sort of out there these days and less ashamed of what they have, whether that's down to things like the Olympics, disabled Olympics, or even things like wars, soldiers coming back with missing limbs and, being injured in that way. Being disabled and being in public seems to be less of a stigma
Yeah.
these days than it used to be. And I think that helps in terms of diabetes, type 1 diabetics, injecting in public, taking their blood in
Yeah.
public as well.
I completely agree with that because I think that a lot of stuff like that comes from this whole social media type generational thing now. So it's more like people are woke to situations and people know what diabetes is because, oh, my mum's cat had diabetes once, but then they're like, well, what the fuck does that mean? And they've Googled it. So now they know for the next time they see someone injecting, they think, oh, well, they've just got to do that to stay alive. Fair enough, leave them alone.
Yeah,
It's more of that whole, not necessarily everybody, but a lot of people go, well, I don't know what that is. What's happening? I'll educate myself on it, even if they don't consciously think that they're doing that.
yeah,
They're finding out what that sort of thing is. It's exactly the same in terms of like women's rights and gay rights and all sorts of stuff like that.
mm,
Disability rights and all that kind of thing is the same. It's the same wheelhouse in terms of whether people or not are educated on it now.
yeah,
And I think that a lot of people are educated on it because they think, well, I need to be educated on these things because if I'm not, I'm just going to look like a fool when I point someone out injecting and going, oh my God, they're doing crack in the middle of the road. And it's like, all right, Shannon, I'm just trying to get through the day.
yeah. Oh, that's been an amazing chat today, Harvey. I think we've kind of even exceeded last fortnight's podcast time. We've gone over 30 minutes again. Maybe we should call this one a day.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's fair.
it's going to be long again. I think coming up soon, we've got a Harvey Dad sandwich.
Yes, I love food
Oh my God, I love food. I love sandwiches.
and
I'll tell you.
also other sandwiches.
We know, Harvey, we know. There's going to be a Harvey Dad sandwich. The filling of this sandwich will be the amazing Queen of GB Doc, and it's going to be Jules. We both follow Jules, don't we, Harvey?
We both follow Jules. We both like Jules. Jules is a cool person.
She is. She's amazing. You can follow her at Jules1315, I think her username is, on Twitter. Um, she will be part of the Harvey Dad Sandwich in the next podcast. We will be discussing all things diabetes involving Her Majesty.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's going to be it this time, Harvey. We're going to go out on a slightly better ending for the podcast.
Fingers crossed this is a little bit better than the car crash of last time.
So I am Diabetic Dad UK on Twitter. Who are you, Harvey?
I am diabetic_me on Twitter.
And you can follow us there, communicate with us there. We swear, we talk nonsense, just as we do in our podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.
Bye.